They bound a woman to a cross under the claim of salvation, and she starved to death while the room swore it was only love and prayer. Tonight I want to trace how a ritual meant to expel a demon can become a mechanism that rewrites bodies, memories, and responsibility until everyone involved believes the killing was holy. Welcome to the Knosis Tape Podcast. I've been up through court transcripts, medical reports, translated interviews with monks and villagers, and the handful of radio pieces that survived the archive purge. I'm piecing together where faith bled into procedure. If you've ever wondered whether collective belief can become a contagious force as lethal as any pathogen, hit like, subscribe, drop a comment and share, because what happened at Tanacu isn't just a case file, it's a lesson in how humans teach one another to kill. Start with something innocuous. A young woman unwell, behavior interpreted through a language of spirits and saints. In a small monastery, ritual accelerates reality. Prayer is repetitive by design, words, gestures, posture, and repetition is training. When enough people surround a single body with synchronized action, something happens to perception. Breath rhythms sync. Micro-expressions lock into a pattern. A cough that used to read as illness becomes, in the shared frame, evidence of possession. The group's attention narrows, and within that narrowed tunnel the body's signals are rewritten into evidence for the ritual. That's the terrible cognitive trick at the heart of Tanacu. Possession, in the classical sense, implies an external intruder. But look closer. The exorcism operates as an interface, and interfaces have affordances. The ritual provides gestures and phrases that feed back into the subject's nervous system. Restraint changes proprioception. Chanting changes respiratory timing. Hunger and isolation degrade judgment. The body starts to produce the data the ritual expects. Eyes roll not because a demon wills it, but because the neural circuits have been coerced into a familiar choreography. Witnesses later describe the same tiny involuntary motions. A throat clearing, a particular tremor, repeated like a meme across testimonies. Those repeated motions are the visible grammar of a process that teaches bodies how to behave. There were decisions made in that room that look, on paper, like clerical certainty. A frame of reference replacing medical inquiry, a chain of authority that normalized abuse into ministry. The recordings and testimonies show artifacts you'd expect from human systems under strain. Gaps in timelines, sudden edits and retelling, moments where people correct themselves mid-sentence as if the language had been rehearsed for public consumption. Those corrections are not just politeness. They're an emergent sensor shaping a communal memory to be more convincing, more defensible. Here's the contradiction that rests under my tongue. A ritual designed to eject a foreign will instead manufactures a local will, one built from group attention, doctrinal language, and bodily coercion. The possessed body becomes both victim and collaborator because the ritual teaches survival through compliance. The group believes it's saving a soul, and in saving it, it erases the very things that would have allowed a person to live. So what do we do with that? We don't have a neat moral. We have a pattern to watch for. Synchronized ritual, authority refusing medical empathy, repetition that trains rather than heals, and a smaller, sharper fear. What if the same dynamics can migrate? Online comments that insist a narrative, live streams that pressure witnesses to conform, communities that refine a story until it performs on cue. Rituals adapt. If tonight you find yourself in a circle repeating someone else's words, listen for your own breath. If it starts to match the room's, step back. If prayer begins to sound like an instruction manual for harm, don't follow it. Sleep light, because belief taught the room in Tanacu how to let go, and some lessons travel farther than we think.